got something to hide. Maybe I've got something to hide. But I have to put myself together again. I mean, what am I gonna do about it? It's the 1 hour version of nursery rhymes about Humpty Dumpty.
Did you hear about Humpty Dumpty? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
The only thing they have that can put me back together again was what they never gave to me if I was in England. What is that called? Starts with an R. Royalties. If I was in England. I don't think the British would have did this to me, to be honest. And I don't want to offend, I don't want to offend the United States, because the United States Subak Domudo Kwan Federation was supposed to fund me for being this Shenmue guy. And to the best of my knowledge, I knew nothing of what happened to my royalties, okay? So the British, the Australians, all the European countries, they're bigger fans of Shenmue, everybody, than, and I'm talking about people in America, people in Michigan. They're bigger fans of Shenmue than you guys. I don't want to offend you guys in Michigan or offend you guys in America. But people in European countries are much bigger fans of Shenmue. Now, what was I before this potbelly and all this, Santa Claus looking, body or whatever? This looked like an egg or whatever or something. I look like an egg, right? Humpty Dumpty's an egg. Now, I'm not showing off, I'm being honest, okay? Gotta be honest. Why am I gonna lie? See, parts of my body were stronger, okay? They're, even with the hair, body hair now, I used to not have body hair when I was a teenager. Okay, when I was a teenager, I did not have body hair. Okay? And I had a lot of, definition on my forearms that doesn't really show now. It doesn't show now, but it did show back then. So, you know, this is just what I want some people to understand about Shenmue. You know, or okay, listen. This is what I want people to understand about myself. I don't necessarily, you know, like, have to be what I'm trying to be at this point in my life because of all the terrible things I've had to go through for not receiving my royalties. I've had to go through a lot of terrible crap for not getting my money that me and those Don teachers were promising each other on. We promised each other this. We had a bond in the changing room. I mean, I know it might sound kind of silly, but we bonded with training. And this is the whole thing about this. This is a charade about this. You know, where did that money go? Did it go to some unknown princess that I don't know who the princesses are that my money went to? Or some kids or I don't know. Maybe it went to an adult. Maybe it went to some people in nursing homes. I don't don't know where those royalties went to. They could have went to, you know, people who really were like really in active combat service, like military personnel, police and, you know, forces, officers, and, you know, people that enforce the law, people that do these things. One of my Don teachers, well, actually 2 or 3 of them are law enforcement. Not supposed to say that. Well, oh, oopsie me. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Or minor one. Call that a minor one. I don't know why. But this is what I'm saying. Okay, I've trained with these certain guys that are in law enforcement, in military combat personnel people. I've trained with these guys. We do similar work. They think of me like as a cop, some people, I would say. Some 5-0s, they probably think of me as a police officer or military personnel because I've trained with them. You gotta train with somebody, right? When you train martial arts in America, well, you gotta train with somebody. I train with people like this. Even if you're in the UK or in some other country, you train people that have the strength to train like that. Now, when I was at a younger age, okay, my metabolism was different. So that's another thing I'm trying to consider. Okay, I'm turning that off for now. Okay. So, given these facts here, take for instance, now I've wanted to humiliate myself, bring myself down some in my pride, or bring bring myself down a few notches, okay? Because I don't have to look good all the time. But I'm just letting people know, you know, some truths that, you know, to really consider about myself. Before people are going to subscribe to my channel, before people are going to, you know, whatever, invest in Shenmue, because I'm trying to be the official Ryu Hazuki guy. The fight choreographer, I don't know if I'm trying to be the official Ryu Hazuki guy. Maybe I could be the unofficial Ryu Hazuki guy. See? Maybe there could be an official one. And I could be the unofficial one. See, I don't know how this is going to work. Because here's what I want to say. I actually think that I've started a little bit of I've started some kind of an uproar for a Shenmue movie with real people. I found one video online. It had 39 views at the time. but it was with a Japanese Ryuzuki. Now that's partially the argument that I have. Not to say that I don't want to give the Japanese a Japanese Ryuzuki if they really want one, but I know there's a lot of people in Japan that would rather have an American Ryuzuki. A lot of Japanese would rather be playing baseball than doing karate, everybody, if you know Japanese people. Like, see this baseball cap? They'd rather be playing baseball. I played baseball when I was a kid, but I'd rather do karate. But I'm American. You see? Consider that. If you know your stuff, if you know anything about life, you're going to know that. So don't think that the Japanese would not rather be American in some cases, and don't think that the Americans would not rather be American, which they already are, and don't think that the Americans would rather be Japanese or some other nationality. It's all different, okay? It's all different. Now, why isn't this working? Wow. Okay. So for some reason I'm not having it's not broadcasting here, the music. Let's put on Shenmue music. Okay. I know it will work, okay. Forget it for now. Okay. So, yeah. Remember these things when I'm telling you about this Shenmue, okay? This Shenmue can be viewed in different perspectives. However you want to look at it. Everybody, you want to look at it in a positive light, look at it in a positive light. Look at it in a neutral or a bi-neutral, but like bi negative, bi positive, whatever. There's so many different ways to look at Shenmue. We all have different opinions, right? Okay. But ultimately, I want people to understand that this video game started with me wanting to be a martial arts movie actor. This video game, the ideas of this video game were stemming from me and the conversations with my karate teacher in a changing room, but that's because my talent was so outstanding. But it started with my idea for a 3D video game, and that made Grand Theft Auto. That made, I don't know how many Bethesda games. That made a lot of video games. This started with me because I had so much talent, and I played this car simulator video game and Pilot Wings, and well, those are kind of like 3D video games. Maybe a 2.5 dimension. I don't know. What is that? Pilot Wings? Is that 3D? Maybe. Maybe partially. But see, this is coming from like SNES. Now, you notice how the Dreamcast controller, when you do those easy attack kicks like windmill and cyclone kick, the buttons on the Sega Dreamcast that you use to do those two moves are like Street Fighter 2. And you notice how those two buttons are, so you got the R on this side, mirroring image, got the R for, was it windmill or cyclone, and this one is windmill or cyclone, and then you run, and then you do it, just do it, it's like that, okay? So imagine that. I come from a time where my hair looked like Guile, and Guile only gets you so far in this game, like Sega says, like Kazuma Kiryu says. So I think I'm getting somewhere, right? And believe it, I'm telling the truth about this. I'm trying to narrow it down no matter what it takes. And because these are my ideas. I had given this karate teacher these ideas. He didn't write them down. He might have wrote some of them down, but I don't think he did. I remember he was just a really smart valedictorian guy, graduate of, Lincoln Park High School. And where did the Lincoln Park music band come from? Lincoln Park. All you young girls, you, you guys, you love Lincoln Park, right? I remember, guys I was working with and this and that in my history, that they wanted burned CDs of Lincoln Park because they didn't want to buy a Lincoln Park copy, a CD. So I remember they were looking for someone that would do that, like on, what was it, Kaza or I don't know the other one. I forget. I forget the other names. My gosh, it's been so many years. Okay, but was let's see. I don't know all these names, but this is history. Okay, now going back, Lincoln Park. That's the city where I trained at. I really made a real impact that year and changed some people's lives because I was so different, I think, in my personal opinion. But I didn't mean to offend people on the way doing it by becoming this Ryuzuki in 1995 and by becoming that Jin guy or anyone else from that certification. Maybe that's some reasoning why that degree, my karate teachers tell me they don't want to value that degree. But you see, this is the problem here. That's something in my most, honored, prized possessions. That's the coolest thing I ever earned in my life. And me as a man and me as a human being, and not just for that reason, but for historical purposes, there was claims that that's the greatest honor in the Federation. And that's coming from, in our community, Russ Hankey's finest student, Kyosanem Savoy. Everybody loves Raymond, right? I do too. His royalties are outstanding. Mine should be too. And thank you. I'm Retro Ryuzuki 81.